Why aren't you changing out the people in your life? Why aren't you upgrading the people in your life? Why aren't you going and plugging into other circles? You need to continually be inviting new, healthy, big thinking, smart individuals on your plate that will slowly crowd the other ones off the plate if they can't keep up. If your plate has stayed the same over all the years of who's on it, then you're screwed.
Welcome, everybody, to the Chris Harder Show, where we are making you unapologetic about your pursuit of success, knowing that when good people like you make good money, they can then do great things. My name is Chris Harder, and several times per week, I will bring you epic guests, solo episodes, and every single tool, trick, and skill set you need to grow your business, grow your money mindset, and to grow your wealth to levels that you have never reached before. I've ended up in a unique place in life where I've got the experience, the connections, and all of the secrets that it takes to be successful. And I'm lifting the curtain to reveal it all to you in an effort to help put you in a position of abundance so great that you can then be as generous as possible. So let's lock arms and let's get started.
And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said.
Hey, what are you drinking? I don't think I've seen that color before.
This is my typical chocolate isogenic shake, but I just added blueberries.
Interesting. I like it. It's like a purpley,
It's
blue,
like
gray.
Berries.
Oh, wait a minute.
I just worked out. I had a great workout, which you know that I have been doing Pilates as well. You guys, you can't stop lifting. You know I'm all about lifting. Well, maybe you don't. I haven't talked about it in a while. But I lift 2 to 3 days a week, but I have added Pilates twice a week. And I never used to do it because I was like, I need all my workouts to be super hard. But I've just learned so much about, your cortisol. And also I really want to start enjoying my workouts even more. And I am so obsessed with Pilates. It's Legree actually. But anyway, I always have a shake no matter what after all of my workouts. And I have had an isogenic shake
15 years.
15 years. Here's why. I stay the fullest, the longest on these shakes. So
that makes sense.
And for me, that's huge. Like, great. Give me an appetite suppressant. This is great.
Well, speaking of eating healthy, that's a good analogy for what we're going to talk about today.
I know. I'm excited.
A lot of people out there, I'm going to stick with your analogy of staying fit, and I got to give you props. What you've done so consistently your whole life is you've crowded your plate, so to speak, with so many good foods that there just hasn't been room for many of the bad foods.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I absolutely feel like I get to eat what I want. I have the pizza. I have some cocktails, but I am like always 80 to 90% healthy.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's a good metaphor for why I think we're really successful in life. Because if we're using this metaphorical plate of people in our life, the one thing that we clearly started doing about 15 years ago when we made our comeback from below zero financially was we got real serious about crowding our plate with smart, talented, positive people that supported our dreams. And that just naturally crowded out the individuals that didn't. And I mean, this wasn't an accident. We got real serious about, okay, we're not going to ask people to leave our life, but we're going to be unapologetic about what we need in life and where we're going. And some people are going to be attracted to that. And when they are, it's going to make the other ones just kind of fall off the plate.
This is one of the hardest subjects and one of the most important, because a lot of people say to me, Lori, the people who are my toughest critics or that I struggle with the most are my family or are my spouse or are my coworkers, and I can't quit my job and I can't leave my family. And whether you want to believe this or not, I had to deal with all of this. My family was some of the most challenging of all because the mindset was so poor, was so broke. And especially around health and fitness, you guys, I was told my whole life that we just had bad genetics. We just had the short end of the stick. And I was literally told verbatim that I would be fat like the rest of my family my whole life. So I had to not only break an actual emotional pattern, but I had to break physical patterns in my family. And I will tell you that I had to, as a teenager, start spending more time out of the house, at the gym, taking walks, out as much as I could, and getting a little section of the fridge for healthy food, in order for me to break any patterns, living in a really tough environment. And I will say, it is harder. It is going to be harder for the people who can't leave those particular environments. But let's start getting into some of the things that they can do in order to start crowding out their plate, Chris.
Okay, I've got one comment and then a question. And the comment is this: why people get stuck here is they think that they're leaving people behind, and they're not.
Right.
When you stand up for what you want and when you speak very loudly what you need, you're sending an invitation for the right people to show up for you. And guess what? Some people just choose not to. Some people will, but some people choose not to. So in that case, you're not leaving them behind by speaking up for what you need. You're sending an invitation for, here's where I'm going and here's what I need. Who wants to support this? And unfortunately, you find out who will support it and who won't when you start speaking up. So that's my comment on that. You're not leaving people behind. You're sending a loud invitation for them to come along. My question for you, though, Lori, was before you became famous for being fit, or I should say that's how, what you just described how you became famous for being fit, all magazine covers, all the titles, all that. But now use that as a metaphor for our business, because that's really what we were going for today, is if you're stuck in your business, if you're working really hard, if you have laser focus on the dream, if you're doing quote unquote the right things, if you're leaving nothing on the table and your business still isn't moving, it's got to be the people that you're listening to or the people that are supporting you or the people that you're taking advice from. So tie these two together for me.
Yeah, it's actually the same analogy. What are you consuming? So consumption obviously isn't just food, water, whatever you're taking in. Consumption, when we're talking about your business, is what are you listening to? What shows are you watching? What music are you listening to? Are you listening to literally broke mindset music over and over? Like there's a song that Chris and I listen to that's like, we ain't got money, honey. And we'll literally we'll change the words out of it because we don't even want any of that in our brain, because that's not the programming that we want at all. So you have to start consuming podcasts that are going to help shift your mindset. You have to start consuming books. You have to start being around people who have a completely different conversation. And, whenever we have masterminds, one of the biggest thing that people tell us is, oh my God, the conversations are just different. Like they literally say verbatim every single time, I had no idea. I had no idea how empowering these conversations could be. I had no idea that borrowing belief and hope from someone who's done it is a real thing. I had no idea how I would feel and how easy other people who have done it before can make it. We just put all of these obstacles, all of these blocks, we cancel ourselves before we even begun. We're literally consistently canceling our lives before we even allow ourselves to think it, because of the conversation that's been in your family, that has been at work, that's maybe been in your hometown, your town that you live in. There is a conversation going on right now, whether you believe it or not, that is happening around everyone's beliefs. And because you are a product of that environment right now, because that's what you're consuming the most, that is what you unconsciously believe. And so I just want you to start taking data. That's it. Like just start taking the temperature on what are people saying around you? What are they thinking? How do they think? Do they think the world is bad? Do they think that really bad things are happening and it's only getting worse? Do they think that you can't make money? Do they think that the world is getting worse? Do they think prices are just going up? And while all of this could be very real, there's also a very real world where people are winning, where they're making a lot of money, where they're finding new businesses right now because of AI. They're not losing businesses because of AI. There's so many conversations that you just have to shift the conversation. You're going to do that by getting in different rooms, going to different workout classes, finding different friends whose conversations you feel uplifted by. You have to completely change all consumption. Just like when I used to be a personal trainer and I would tell people like, I can, bring you into this environment and we can work out so hard. I could work you out 5 days a week. You could crush it. You could be the strongest person. But if you go back to an environment where you're consuming crap foods and mentally you're consuming just stuff that tells you that you can't do it and your body's never going to change, there's no way I can change you without completely changing your environment and the way that you think.
This just happened to me this week. One of my clients came to me and they said, hey, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like it's just tougher to sell right now? Like, are there less sales happening right now? And I said, maybe, But at the same time that you're asking me this, one of our friends just had a record $1 million plus launch in the shortest amount of time possible to earn that $1 million. So which one do you want to concentrate on? You're feeling that maybe things are changing a little bit, or let's go get the data from those other people in our circle that are still setting records. And it really comes down to which echo chamber do you want to listen to? Which one do you want to learn from? Which one do you want to create your playbook from? And this goes back to the analogy of crowding your plate. Your plate should never stay the same. If your plate has stayed the same over all the years of who's on it, quote unquote, then you're screwed. You need to continually be inviting new, healthy, big thinking, smart individuals on your plate that will slowly crowd the other ones off the plate if they can't keep up.
And there's a simple question you can ask yourself around, your results. If you're not getting the results that you want, you have to go find someone who's winning, figure out the actions they're taking, and have a real conversation with yourself around, are you executing at the level that they are? Are you doing the things and putting yourself out there as much as they are?
Or do you even know how to do it?
Do you even know how to do it? And there was a question. I was on the Powerhouse Women's stage, and a girl raised her hand in the audience, super sweet girl. She had a jewelry brand. And, I love jewelry. I'm like, I want you to win, girlfriend. And she was kind of asking about investors and if it's, what the temperature is on investors, kind of feeling like, oh, how would I even find this? I have no idea. Are people even investing? Like, I think it's, kind of like downtrodden about it. And I had asked her, and I posed this question to the whole audience because I'm asking myself this right now because I'm obviously in a fundraise right now. And I said, before you start asking for investors, are you somebody that you would invest in? Are you doing the actions? If you looked into the due diligence on your life right now for your company, are you somebody that you would put 25K in? Do you know that the actions that you're taking, could you make money? Could you get ROI on that investment? And, if I look at my life, I'd have to ask myself all the time, okay, are you taking the actions where you would want to invest in that person going, whoa, they're just not going to quit. Wow, they're figuring it out. Whoa, they're putting themselves out there on social every day. Wow, they're going above and beyond for that company, for that brand, for that podcast. Oh my God, I absolutely know what that girl offers because she won't shut the fuck up about it. Like, she literally won't stop talking about her mentor collective mastermind. Like, that's the level that you have to be at in order to win. Like, if you want to be known for something, you have to be over the top. And it's just the truth. Like, Chris and I always are like, okay, God, we need to be doing more. We need to be doing more. And this isn't a conversation about burnout, but in all honesty, right now we are in a time where you do have to do a little bit more and figure it out.
What do you not like? I'm going to stick with your vein of getting outside of yourself and looking at yourself and being able to have a conversation with yourself. If you could split you into two people, right? Two the same people. And you're having a conversation with yourself, not only asking the question that Lori just said, but asking your question of like, why? Why aren't you changing out the people in your life? Why aren't you upgrading the people in your life? Why aren't you going and plugging into other circles? Why aren't you investing the money? Why aren't you taking the risk? What is really behind that why? That you're sticking with the same old routine and the same old advice and the same old mediocre support and the same old everything. Why? Because I don't understand it.
I mean, a lot of it is just fear. It goes back to survival. And a lot of people have the fear that I had growing up. You'll be cast out of the tribe. You'll be cast out from your friends. They're going to talk bad about you. They're going to talk behind your back. They're going to say you're selfish, self-absorbed. But here's the thing. You have to simultaneously be making those new friends who think that it's not only completely normal, but have a conversation around, hey, this isn't self-absorbed that you're taking this time from your family to build the business. You're thinking of the future so that they don't have a stressed out mom or a stressed out dad who never knows where the money is coming from. And the kids are like fearful and feeling like they can't do enough. And they're not feeling like they're safe because they don't have that feeling of safety from their parents because it's so freaking stressed out. And you guys, I grew up this way. So is it selfish to take that time to build a business and to build legacy and show your children how to do it too? Or is it actually the most selfless thing that you can possibly do? And the only thing that's going to be the variable in that is how you translate what people are going to say about you based off of their scripts and how they're raised. We're never going to be able to change what people think of us. The only thing we can do is change our lives. So you guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Love and appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. And if you loved this episode and know of someone else who is as successful as they are generous, please pass them on to me. It would mean the world to me if you help me get this cause and this message out to as many listeners as I can. So please, if you liked what you heard, it goes a long way if you take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review and share this with your friends. I'll be forever grateful. And until the next episode, cheers to your success.